Hey y'all, it's Angela here at the Chicken Coop, and I just wanted to go over some ways that I recycle, repurpose, and reuse things here on my homestead. So here lately I've been working on some sewing projects, and of course with every sewing project you always have some scraps of material that you have left over, and I wanted to show y'all some things that I use and do to recycle and repurpose those materials. So like just like a scrap of material like this was from a project, you can do all sorts of things with this. Some of the things that I do is here lately, like when I had that, I made some long strips. Now I am really good at cutting a straight line by just freehand straight line, but not everybody can do that, so you could always use a rotary cutter. But I cut these pieces of material up into strips, and you can use these for a lot of embellishment, or you can take a piece of rope and tie these all up to a piece of rope and make like a little valance with all these little scraps of material. And they don't have to be the same length, they can be all sorts of different lengths, and this is one of the things that you can do with your scraps of material. And I had these scraps, and while I was just sitting there watching TV one night, I cut them into these strips, and now I have this whole wad of strips here, and I'm just going to keep those handy and keep adding to it, and then when I feel like I have enough, I can repurpose them for a project that I'm going to do. Some of the other things that I do to reuse material is I make yo-yos. I love making yo-yos, and I have done this for years now. And some of the things that I do with my yo-yos is like I'll sit down one night while I'm watching TV, and I have all these scraps, and I cut out the circles. Now I've done all sorts of different ways and things I have used for the size circle I want. I've used the rings off of ball jars. I've used bowls. I've used cups and lids. These are some circles that I bought years ago to do scrapbooking with. I've used all these. I've just used all sorts of things. But I make these yo-yos, and I have a handy little basket that can kind of contain all my projects. That is another handy little tip that you can use. Any kind of little project that you can keep in one little container, a little basket, a little baggie, whatever, that will make it more handy for you to work on while you're watching TV, while you're traveling, all those type of things. And I just sit and make yo-yos. And you think, well, what are you going to do with all those yo-yos? You can tack all these yo-yos together and make like a little hot pad. I also embellish them and put like buttons on them, or get another contrasting fabric and make a smaller circle and double them and make them a little bit more festive that way. I've sewn them onto the collars of t-shirts, baby projects. I've bought little hand towels and sewed them on the bottom of hand towels at Christmas time. I gave those away as gifts, and I actually even sold some of them. And so you can do all sorts of things with these. I put them on burp cloths just for some little embellishment there. And then another thing, like I've made ornaments. This is an ornament I made one year. I doubled it, and then it's different on that side, and tied a little, sewed a little ribbon in there, and that's an ornament. I have ornaments like this, and I have all different size. I even have little sizes down to this little. But isn't that cute? I just love those. Sew it on an apron, anything. It makes things really cute. But one thing that I've always that I've done, and I've done this several years. Where I work with a bunch of ladies, like 50 to 70 nurses and doctors and things. I'm not working anymore, but I have done this for several Christmases. I would make up yo-yos, and then I would hot glue them onto clothespins, and I made like little chip clips. And for Christmas, I would just have made all sorts of different ones. I have like this one, and here's one that looks, it's like a little check and a little yellow flowery. Let's see, you can't really see that real good. There you go. Here's one with buttons. I've embellished them with buttons, different other coordinating fabric. Really cute. Here's one that I did that made it look like a flower. I sewed like little leaves and then put, you know, more buttons and stuff on them as little chip clips. And I sell eggs out on my front porch, and so for some of my customers, I might put another little basket out there and said, you know, thank y'all for supporting me all throughout the year buying my eggs. Here's my little Christmas gift to y'all, and, you know, take a chip clip. I've put these on little, let's see, I have them down in here. Hold on a minute. I've put them on like little hair clips for little girls. I've sewn those onto that, and you know, you can just put it in a little baby's hair, that decoration for little hair clips. And so those are just some ideas to use up the material. Now, I keep them in this little bag. I have like tiny little scissors, this little basket, and I have my thread and my needle in there, and I just have this basket, and it's handy because I can just set it, you know, beside my on the table beside my couch, or I can take it with me and while I'm in the carpool lane. I've done that years ago. I did cross stitch ornaments while in the carpool lane waiting for my kids in the afternoon when I would pick them up from school, and I'd worked on those all year long, and by the end of the year I had completed all sorts of little cross stitch projects, and then I framed them, and I still use those as ornaments today, and they'll be an heirloom for my kids and my grandkids because, you know, I made those by hand. And so I just had them in a little baggie in the little console of my car, and every day I would sit there and work on those cross stitch ornaments. You would be surprised how many things you can get done in time that you're just wasting, you know, in those type situations. In doctor's offices, waiting for a doctor's office, you can do all sorts of little things. So that's a little tip. Other things I have done, or I'm going to do, these. Now, I didn't make these, but I bought these at a thrift store, and somebody had made up these little 9-patch squares. And look how cute they are. There's all sorts of different ones. And I'm going to do something with these. I don't know what yet, but I'm going to do something with these. But I do have an idea for this, another section. I've got several of those in it. But aren't those cute? And that's a small little bitty teeny tiny piece of fabric that they put together and made like a little 9-patch square. These right here are all in the brown and fall colors. And I think I'm going to make myself, there's like 11 or 12 of these, all sorts of different ones. Look how pretty that one is. Just love it. I'm going to make a table runner for fall for my house. Won't that be just so cute and so farmhouse and primitive looking for fall? So I'm going to put all these together and make a little table runner for my table. But like I say, I didn't make these, I bought these, but this was an inspiration of some of the things that you could do with your scrap material. The other thing, so because of that, I set out and I had some scraps of material that I had used for like a baby blanket, and also some of the big scraps I made burp cloths with them. I've already done a video on my rag quilt and my burp cloths. You'll have to look those up. But I cut squares out of these, and I have enough for, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of the 9-patch that I'm going to put together. And I'm going to put this together for spring for a table runner for my table, for my farmhouse table in my kitchen for spring, for Easter and stuff. Won't those be just beautiful colors at Easter time? On your table? Won't that be so cute and springy and festive? And what I did, I used something for, I didn't have a square template, and so I needed a square template. So I found a coaster. Y'all, this is a wonderful thing. It's got a cork backing, so when you put it on your material, it's not moving around. It's easy to trace around and cut around. And so this is a coaster. This is something you can use as something besides its original purpose that you can use as your template. In my other rag rug quilt I showed you, my husband made me a template. This is a 10-inch template for that rag rug quilt. So there's all sorts of things that you can use to use up your scraps, and you don't have to spend a lot of money. You have items already around your house to help you with these projects if you want to do them. So I just wanted to inspire y'all and to think of ways and think of things outside the box to use up your scraps and be more able and to recycle, repurpose, and use your items in your household for new and better projects that you could do, and save money because you're not throwing those away and you're not you could always recycle and give them away, but then you could also maybe make an heirloom that your kids might really appreciate someday, or your grandkids really appreciate, said my grandmother made that for me. So I just wanted to encourage y'all to recycle, repurpose, and reuse your things, and look outside the box of things that you already have in your household. And that's what we do here at the Chicken Coop. And I just wanted to inspire y'all with a little bit of that. So thank y'all for visiting with me, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.